What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to KD Acoustics, and this here is the Sideshow. So we're back here for my, sit down and talk podcast style little freaking thing that I decided to do on here, other than the music, just to kind of keep the content rolling. Though I ain't been very successful at that. But anyways, we had some things go down that took precedent over what this sideshow was originally going to be, especially because I was still in the processes of getting ready to record this other one. I had recorded an intro video, which I'm not even going to freaking leak into this one here. But yeah, then the Kentucky Derby came along, as you can tell by the title, and this kind of took precedent over everything. So yeah, that being said though, before we get started, I do want to bring up a couple small little things, and that is, you can tell by the last two videos, if you're a returning subscriber, that we are back. It was pretty much a rocky road of me having to talk myself into coming back and doing this shit for at least another year so far, and yeah, pretty much me talking myself into it kind of won over me talking myself into not doing it, and here we are. And we are here in the week of Mother's Day week, so there will be an original song coming up here for too long. Will be the first original song of the freaking new year. So jumping into the topic, so that I don't keep you all waiting for too awful long, pretty much I'm going to open with, alright, we got 7 dead horses at the beginning of the Kentucky Derby. Now this right here is pretty much the Daytona 500 of horse racing. Even though you got 2 more races after the fact, the Preakness and the Belmont running for the Triple Crown, blah, 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 blah. Probably ain't going to happen this year. Rare occurrence that it ever does happen, because freaking, I think like America Pharoah or somebody was the last one to do it after, Secretariat and all that. But yeah, we got 7 dead horses, or 7 euthanized horses, I should say. Total at the conclusion of the Kentucky Derby. A couple of them during training, a couple of them during, race events, and all that. So, yeah, friggin' I don't know if some of it has to do with the track conditions. I know I was reading something about some of the turf horses or a couple of the turf horses that they had to put down, listed off as like bad steps and stuff, but somebody mentioned something about holes in the freaking turf surface, and I'm not 100% sure about that one right there. But all I know is that on Derby Day, for sure, you had Chloe's Dream get scratched, Freezing Point get scratched, and freaking Wild on Ice get scratched. Wild on Ice collapsed. Freezing Point took he had a big heart. He actually got bumped going down the backstretch, and freaking, I guess he ended up collapsing. That's what the information that I've gathered from it. I was actually watching that race, but they didn't really show the horse going down. And then Chloe's Dream took a bad step in the second race of the day. Following down, you had other horses that had to be euthanized throughout like the training week and everything, and those were Take Charge Brianna, Code of Kings, and Parents' Pride. There's another one on there. I think I've literally only listed, yeah, I did. I only listed 6. There's another one on there, and I don't really know why I listed only 6. But yeah, so the majority of those being bad steps. Were they really bad steps? Now, a day or so before the Oaks, I was reading up on a thing talking about the turf track and how it's a brand new turf track just brought in by, I can't even remember what that grass maker's name is, but anyways, they had just brought it in last year, and it was run on, if I'm not mistaken from the information that I read, it was ran on a couple of times. And from what I gather too, it was hardly even ran on, no, actually it was ran through the Derby week last year, because, they have to have all those, the Old Forester Turf Classic and Woodford Reserve Turf Classic, American Turf Classic, la-da-da-da-da-da-da, the list goes on, right? But also, with that going on, you had 5 horses as well get scratched out on race day. Derby horses, I'm not talking about the other preliminary races leading up to it. That one of those being Lord Miles. Of course, Lord Miles, his freaking trainer got suspended. His trainer had, I think, two other horses that had to be euthanized and everything, and shit. So then you have Practical Move, he had a fever. Continuar had a fitness issue. Skinner had a fever. And then Forte had a bruised hoof from freaking, I don't know, I'm guessing a rock on the track is the way that they described it. So with these scratched horses too, that adds on to the long list of problems that they have had at Churchill Downs this year. And I'm going to say that it's problems. I don't necessarily think that it's just, oh, the horses came down here this year and it's, oh, they're getting weaker because they're being bred to be ran faster or something. And that's an argument that I read from a few people commenting up on news posts, just short and brief, looking through it and everything. That being said, though, if that's the case, if they're running faster, Secretariat's record should have been broken. That's just my opinion, right? But overall, it's a pretty crazy coincidence. But honestly, I mean, really, it could have been a coincidence, just a bad year for horse racing in general. You never really know. But some little side note takeaways from this, though, are that freaking at least 3 of the 7 horses that I know of, and it could be every single one of them that are going over to University of Kentucky's, I think, animal sciences or veterinary sciences things for necropsies, which is pretty much like full body autopsy from head to tail. I know, but that being said, though, too, with everything going on, freaking Churchill Downs is opening up an investigation regarding everything going on, and especially on this one trainer, considering a few of his horses had the most problems, both fillies and thoroughbreds or whatever the hell it is that ran that day. And it's pretty crazy, too, because not only with the horse deaths and everything being the most in a long-ass freaking time, it's been the most horses scratched from a derby in a long time. And the thing is, I only think like 1 or 2 of them were scratched before the derby. Or no, all of them were scratched before the derby, except for Forte. Forte was literally just scratched hours away from even getting ready to take off. He was examined up by one of the chief equine veterinarians or equine medical people or whatever you want to call it, and determined that he had a bruised foot, and they didn't want to take the risk with everything going on to let him run. Also, though, freaking Forte was the favorite for the whole entire freaking race. So he had 3-1 odds on him whenever he got scratched off, and then that put a co-favorite in for Age of Empire, and I can't remember who the other one was. I think the other one was Two Fills or something like that. And yeah, but anyways, needless to say, the 17-1 freaking shot won. The 17-1 odds horse won. Freaking, I'm getting hung up on this trash can lid because I'm sitting on a metal freaking trash can because we white trash up in here. But the 17-1 odds horse won, which is pretty good. Still nothing like last year with Rich Strike, who freaking was like 80-1 odds or something like that. Second longest shot to win the Kentucky Derby, and the last one was like 1913. He had 91-1 odds. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that one. I'm not really that big of a horse fan, but this was pretty big information because this was a pretty tragic week overall for horse racing. Anybody and everybody freaking watches the Kentucky Derby almost like the freaking Daytona 500 at least once a year. You know, even if you're not a fucking true NASCAR fan, you probably end up going to freaking Daytona 500 parties, or you at least know about it just the same. Anyways, though, my final thoughts and opinions on this have to go with a lot of, I'm going to say on the dirt track side of it, a lot of it has to be the construction over there on Churchill Downs. You got new grandstands up in the turn one. They're doing a brand new paddock. They're renovating the infield. I guess doing like a new party section or VIP section, whatever it is. And then you got all these windstorms that have been coming through these last few days or last few months, all across the nation, but especially here in the state that I live, which, go figure, is Kentucky. And all that. So you got shit blowing around. So anything that they didn't get picked up, bolts, screws, freaking knocked up gravel, rocks, concrete, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. Could have got blown over onto the racing surface. I'm not really going to say like gravel or like concrete, because I haven't really seen either one much get blown up by wind unless there's been a tornado and all that hoopla. But yeah. That being said, though, that's my hot take on this whole thing. I wasn't really trying to keep this video long. Hopefully, whenever I go back and edit out and look at it, it doesn't exceed 15 minutes. Though, odds are that it might. Either which way, though, thank you all for watching this long and keeping up with my scattered brain. I'm gonna have to get back into the habit of talking in front of this camera so freely again, because yeah, I'm jumbled up in thoughts and I feel like I'm running over words and repeating shit over and over and over. Instead of having a conversation, I'm just being the star of the show, even though there's nobody here to have a conversation with, right? But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit of information that it was able to give anyways. The next sideshow is going to be that one that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. You'll figure out the topic of that when the video does get uploaded. Other than that, once again, I do have a original song getting ready to come up on here sometime this week. More than likely Friday, because you were seeing this on Monday, and it's also Mother's Day week, so Mother's Day falls this Sunday if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be the perfect time for that one to release. Anyways, give this a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new and you like these little sideshow videos. I've got a whole playlist up on the channel. I'll link the playlist link down in the description box below for anybody who wants to view that. Other than that, guys, I'm going to hop out of here. Peace.